When people hear that I'm 94 years old, they usually expect me to say, I live with my children, or that I have someone checking on me every day. But that's not my story. I still wake up in my own home each morning. I make my own breakfast, tidy the kitchen, water the flowers outside my front door, and spend time caring for the little garden that has brought me joy for years. Most importantly, I wake up without the aches and exhaustion that once made every morning feel like a struggle, and I don't depend on pain pills to get through the day. So people often ask me the same question: what is your secret? They expect me to mention some expensive supplement, a special diet, or a miracle treatment that only a lucky few have discovered. The truth is much simpler than that. What changed my life was something almost anyone can do. 5 small morning habits, repeated day after day, year after year, until they became as natural as breathing. Now, maybe your knees complain before your feet touch the floor. Maybe you wake up tired even after a full night's sleep. Perhaps your mind feels a little cloudy, or you've been told, that's just what happens when you get older. I want you to know something I wish someone had told me many years ago. Growing older doesn't mean you have to stop feeling well. While aging brings changes, there are still simple daily habits that can help you feel stronger, think more clearly, and enjoy each day more comfortably. Today I'm going to share the same 5 habits that became the foundation of my mornings. They don't cost much, they don't require fancy equipment, and you certainly don't need to be an athlete to do them. I've watched friends sleep more peacefully, regain confidence in their steps, and feel mentally brighter simply by making a few gentle changes to the way they begin each day. If you'll stay with me, I believe at least one of these habits could become the easiest and most valuable gift you give yourself tomorrow morning. But I hope you won't stop after the first habit, because the one that surprised me the most wasn't about food or exercise at all. It was something I had overlooked for decades, and once I finally changed it, I began sleeping more deeply, thinking more clearly, and waking up with energy I hadn't felt in years. By the end of this video, I'll also share the morning habit that helped one woman regain enough strength to stop relying on her walker inside the house. Let's get started. Habit 1. Drink a glass of water before anything else. Just one large glass of water, enjoyed before coffee, before breakfast, and before my day truly begins. I wasn't always convinced something so simple could matter. In fact, there was a time when I dreaded getting out of bed each morning. My fingers felt puffy before I could even close them into a fist. My knees protested with every step toward the bathroom, and every now and then I became lightheaded after standing up. I blamed my age because that's what I had heard for years. Friends my age complained about the same things, and even some doctors would simply smile and say, well, that's part of getting older. But eventually I started asking myself, what if my body wasn't simply getting older? Most of us never think about what happens while we sleep. Every night, while we sleep, our bodies continue working. We breathe thousands of times, our skin releases moisture, and our organs continue carrying out countless essential functions. By the time morning arrives, many people have lost close to a liter of water without taking a single sip. For a younger body, that loss may be easier to tolerate. But as we grow older, even mild dehydration can have a much greater impact. When the body doesn't have enough water, the brain may not function as efficiently, leaving us feeling slow or mentally foggy. Joints that are already experiencing years of wear can feel even stiffer because the tissues surrounding them are less hydrated. Dehydration may also contribute to fatigue and make normal inflammatory processes feel more noticeable, causing aches that many people simply blame on age. Once I understood that, I changed my morning routine completely. Now, the first thing I do after waking up is pour myself a large glass of water, about 450 to 500 milliliters. Sometimes I add a tiny pinch of natural mineral salt. Not enough to change the taste, just enough to provide a few natural electrolytes. If I want a little freshness, I squeeze in a slice of lemon. Then I drink it slowly before I have my morning coffee. There is a reason for that small pinch of mineral salt. Water enters our cells more efficiently when the body has the right balance of electrolytes. After spending 8 hours without food or drink, those minerals help support normal hydration. It's one small detail, but over the years I've found it makes the habit feel even more effective. Coffee can certainly come later, but I like giving my body water first, allowing it to replenish what was naturally lost overnight. I remember sharing this routine with a woman from my church named Helen. She had recently turned 81 and often complained that she woke up with dull headaches and felt unsteady during her first few steps each morning. I encouraged her to try one small experiment. For the next several mornings, before reaching for coffee or turning on the television, she would drink one full glass of water instead. A week later, she stopped me after the Sunday service with a smile I hadn't seen in months. "I don't know why I never thought of something so simple," she said. "I'm waking up clearer, and I'm not afraid of standing up anymore." Did it solve every problem she had? Of course not. No single habit can do that. But it gave her mornings a better beginning, and that better beginning influenced the rest of her day. Habit 2. Let the morning sun wake up your body. Have you ever felt that way? You sleep long enough, but you still wake up tired. Your body feels heavy. Your mood is flat. You find yourself wondering where your energy went. Years earlier, I used to open my back door almost every morning. I would listen to the birds while checking on my roses, or simply stand on the porch for a few peaceful minutes before starting the day. As life became busier and my habits changed, I replaced those quiet moments with indoor routines. Without realizing it, I had traded the morning sun for kitchen lights and television screens. It seemed like such a small change, but my body noticed. Our bodies are guided by an internal clock that quietly tells us when to feel awake, when to become sleepy, when to release certain hormones, and even when to repair tissues while we rest. As we age, that clock can become less consistent, making it easier to feel tired during the day and wide awake at night. One of the strongest signals that keeps this clock working properly is natural morning sunlight. When sunlight reaches your eyes shortly after you wake up, it tells your brain that a new day has begun. Your body gradually reduces melatonin, the hormone that helps you sleep, and begins producing more serotonin, a chemical that supports a brighter mood, better focus, and a greater sense of well-being. That same morning signal also helps prepare your body for deeper, more restful sleep later that evening. In other words, the quality of tonight's sleep often begins with tomorrow morning's sunlight. Once I understood that, I created another simple ritual. Within the first 30 minutes after waking, I step outside for about 10 to 15 minutes. I don't exercise unless I feel like it. I don't check my phone. Sometimes I simply sit on my porch with a warm cup of tea. Other mornings I walk slowly around my garden, noticing which flowers have opened overnight. Whenever possible, I avoid wearing sunglasses during those few minutes, because I want my eyes to receive the natural daylight. If you need prescription glasses to see safely, of course keep wearing them, but the important thing is allowing your eyes to experience the outdoor light. Even on cloudy mornings, there's far more natural light outside than inside your home, and your brain can still recognize that signal. One winter morning, my friend Ruth told me she had almost given up on sleeping well. She had tried herbal teas, relaxing music, new pillows, and even several different sleep medications over the years. Some helped for a night or two, but nothing seemed to last. I asked her to try something that sounded almost too simple. For 1 week, I said, don't change your bedtime, just change your morning. Every day after breakfast, she wrapped herself in a warm sweater and sat on the small bench outside her apartment for 15 minutes. Some mornings the sky was bright blue. Other mornings it was gray and cool. She went outside anyway. The following Sunday she greeted me with the biggest smile. "I slept through the whole night," she said. Not once, 3 nights in a row. She still had the occasional restless night, just like all of us do from time to time. But she noticed something else that surprised her even more. She laughed more. She felt calmer. She stopped needing an afternoon nap almost every day. That experience reminded me of something beautiful. Nature has been caring for human beings long before there were alarm clocks, sleeping pills, or energy drinks. So tomorrow, after you finish that glass of water, open the front door. Stand on your porch, sit by your garden, or take a slow walk to the end of your driveway. Lift your face toward the morning light, breathe deeply, and give yourself 10 or 15 peaceful minutes. Habit 3. Give your brain 4 minutes before the world takes your attention. May I ask you something? Have you ever walked into the living room and suddenly forgotten why you went there? Have you ever introduced someone, only to have their name disappear from your mind for a few awkward seconds? Or perhaps you've picked up your reading glasses, only to spend 5 minutes searching for them while they were already in your hand. If you've smiled while listening to those questions, you're certainly not alone. There was a time when those little moments frightened me. Every forgotten name or misplaced item made me wonder if I was losing something I could never get back. I began paying closer attention to every small lapse, and the more I worried, the more often they seemed to happen. Then I learned an important lesson. Our brains are much like the rest of our bodies. If we gently challenge them, they continue adapting. If we stop using them in meaningful ways, they become less efficient over time. What surprised me most was discovering that the first few minutes after waking up are especially valuable. During this part of the morning, the brain is naturally shifting from deep rest into full alertness. It's an excellent time to encourage new neural connections, strengthen memory, and prepare your mind for the day ahead. Instead of immediately turning on the television or scrolling through the news, I now spend just 4 minutes giving my brain a gentle workout. That's all. 4 minutes. The first minute is for simple mental arithmetic. I might add 27 and 36 in my head, count backward from 100 by threes, or multiply two small numbers. The goal isn't to solve complicated equations. It's simply to wake up the logical part of my mind. The second minute, I close my eyes and revisit a happy memory in as much detail as I can. Sometimes I picture my wedding day. Other mornings I remember baking pies with my mother or watching my grandchildren chase fireflies on a warm summer evening. I try to remember the colors, the sounds, even the expressions on people's faces. The third minute is devoted to learning something new. I choose 4 unfamiliar words from a book, a magazine, or even a calendar with daily vocabulary. I read each one aloud, repeat it several times, and try to use it in a simple sentence. At 94, I still enjoy discovering words I've never used before. Growing older doesn't mean we stop learning. It simply means we learn at our own pace. The fourth, I picture myself walking steadily through my garden. I imagine preparing lunch without rushing. I see myself smiling during conversations, remembering what I want to say, and ending the day feeling grateful rather than exhausted. Several years ago, a woman in my book club named Margaret underwent surgery that required weeks of recovery. Because she couldn't be as physically active as she wanted, she became concerned that staying indoors would leave her feeling mentally sluggish. I shared my 4-minute routine with her. She kept a small notebook beside her favorite chair and promised herself she would never skip it. Even on difficult mornings, a month later she told me something her rehabilitation therapist had noticed. "You seem much more focused than we expected," the therapist said. "You remember instructions quickly, and you stay engaged throughout every session." Margaret smiled when she told me the story. "I couldn't exercise much," she said, "but every morning I made sure my brain got its exercise." We often think of protecting our memory as something that requires expensive programs, complicated puzzles, or hours of training. But sometimes consistency matters far more than complexity. 4 thoughtful minutes repeated every morning become nearly 25 hours of mental practice over the course of a single year. Imagine what those small moments can add up to after 5 years. Or 10. Your brain has carried your memories, your wisdom, your family's stories, and every lesson you've learned throughout your life. Habit 4. Move gently for 7 minutes. Over the years, I've come to believe something very important. Growing older doesn't take away our independence nearly as quickly as losing our ability to move does. Many people think stiffness, poor balance, and weak legs are simply unavoidable after a certain age. While our bodies certainly change over time, remaining completely inactive often speeds up that process far more than the birthday candles on our cake. The mistake I made for years was believing I needed to stretch the way I had when I was younger. I would bend forward to touch my toes, twist my back from side to side, and hold long stretches because that's what I had learned decades earlier. Instead of feeling better, I often finished feeling sore and unstable. Later, a physical therapist explained something that made perfect sense. An older body doesn't usually need more force. It needs better preparation. Our joints are less forgiving than they once were. Muscles may take longer to warm up, and balance becomes more important than flexibility alone. Rather than forcing the body into big movements, it's often safer and more effective to wake it up gradually, moving from one gentle exercise to the next. Now, after my glass of water and a few minutes outside in the sunlight, I spend just 7 minutes helping my body remember how it was designed to move. I always begin with shoulder circles. Sitting comfortably in a sturdy chair, I slowly roll my shoulders forward several times, then backward. There's no rushing. I simply let the movement loosen the tightness that settles in during the night. Within half a minute, my upper body already feels lighter. Next comes seated marching. Still sitting safely in the chair, I lift one knee, then the other, as though I'm marching in slow motion. My arms swing naturally with each movement. This simple exercise gently wakes up my hips, strengthens my core, and encourages healthy circulation before I've even left the living room. After that, I stand in a doorway for a doorway chest stretch. With my hands resting comfortably on either side of the frame, I lean forward just enough to feel a gentle stretch across my chest and shoulders. Years of reading, cooking, gardening, and simply living have a way of pulling our shoulders forward. This movement reminds my body to stand tall again. The fourth exercise is one I once avoided because I thought squats were only for younger people. Now I practice supported squats while lightly holding the kitchen counter. I bend my knees only a little, then slowly stand back up. The movement is small, controlled, and comfortable. It strengthens the thighs and hips, two of the most important muscle groups for climbing stairs, standing from a chair, and preventing falls. Finally, I finish with ankle circles. Sitting down once again, I lift one foot slightly off the floor and slowly rotate my ankle in both directions before switching to the other foot. They may seem like tiny movements, but healthy ankles play a remarkable role in maintaining balance and steady walking. 7 minutes. That's all it takes. By the time I finish, my joints no longer feel stiff, my legs feel awake, and my first steps through the house are smoother and more confident. A woman from my neighborhood named Linda discovered this for herself after retiring at 78. She had gradually begun relying on a walker inside her home, not because she had suffered a serious injury, but because she no longer trusted her balance. When we started meeting for coffee once a week, I showed her this gentle routine. I reminded her that the goal wasn't to exercise until she was exhausted. The goal was simply to teach her body to move again. She promised to practice every morning. About 2 weeks later, she knocked on my front door, carrying a homemade loaf of banana bread. Before she even said hello, she smiled and pointed toward her porch. "My walker is still by the front door," she laughed, "but I didn't need it to walk over here." That moment warmed my heart, not because she had become perfectly strong overnight, but because she had regained something even more valuable: confidence. Habit 5. Start your day with a breakfast that builds strength. If someone had looked at my breakfast 30 years ago, a piece of toast, a cup of coffee, perhaps a banana or a bowl of fruit, after all, many of us were taught that eating lightly in the morning was good for our waistline. What I didn't realize was that while I was trying to eat light, my muscles were slowly becoming weaker. It's called anabolic resistance. After about the age of 60, our muscles don't respond to protein the way they once did. When we were younger, a modest amount of protein throughout the day was often enough to maintain muscle. But later in life, our muscles become less sensitive. They need a stronger signal to repair themselves and stay healthy. One of the best times to send that signal is first thing in the morning. After sleeping all night, your body has gone many hours without nourishment. Giving it around 25 to 30 grams of quality protein at breakfast provides your muscles with the building blocks they need to stay strong. That strength isn't only about lifting weights or looking fit, it's about climbing stairs without fear, carrying groceries into the house, standing up from a chair with confidence, opening a stubborn jar, living life without depending on someone else for every little task. Once I understood that, I changed my breakfast completely. Most mornings, I prepare 2 eggs because they're simple, affordable, and packed with high-quality protein. Alongside them, I often enjoy a serving of cottage cheese or a bowl of plain Greek yogurt. If I know I'll have a busy morning, I may stir a scoop of whey protein into the yogurt for a little extra nourishment. A handful of walnuts adds healthy fats and a satisfying crunch, making the meal both filling and enjoyable. Some mornings, especially during warmer weather, I blend Greek yogurt with a few berries, a little whey protein, and some crushed walnuts into a quick smoothie. It takes only a few minutes to prepare, yet it keeps me satisfied for hours. The important lesson isn't that everyone must eat exactly what I eat. The lesson is to make protein the star of your breakfast instead of an afterthought. I remember talking with my friend Margaret, who had recently celebrated her 83rd birthday. She often told me she felt worn out before lunchtime. Carrying shopping bags from the car left her arms tired, and she found herself sitting down to rest more often than she used to. When I asked what she usually ate for breakfast, she smiled and said, "Coffee, and maybe a slice of toast if I'm hungry." That explained a great deal. She wasn't giving her body enough fuel to maintain the strength she wanted. Instead of changing her entire diet, she made one simple adjustment. She added scrambled eggs in the morning, enjoyed Greek yogurt several days each week, and occasionally sprinkled chopped walnuts over her breakfast. On busier mornings, she mixed whey protein into a smoothie so she wouldn't skip the meal. About a month later, we met at the local farmer's market. She walked toward me carrying 2 reusable grocery bags, one in each hand. Before I could even ask how she was feeling, she laughed. "I just realized," she said, lifting the bags a little higher. "These don't feel nearly as heavy anymore." That was the difference. She hadn't become younger. She had simply started giving her muscles what they had quietly been asking for. Every bite of nourishing whey protein helps support the strength that allows me to cook my own meals, tend my flowers, carry laundry, and continue living independently in the home I love. And isn't that what most of us truly want? As I sit here at 94 years old, I don't spend much time wishing I were younger. Instead, I feel grateful for something far more valuable. I can still wake up each morning with purpose. I can prepare my own breakfast, tend to my little garden, enjoy a conversation with a neighbor, and end the day knowing that I have lived it independently. To me, that is what healthy aging truly means. If there is one message I hope you take away from today's video, it is this: you don't have to transform your entire life to change the way you age. Lasting change rarely comes from one big decision. More often, it comes from small choices repeated faithfully every single day. A glass of water before coffee, a few minutes in the morning sunshine, 4 quiet minutes to awaken your mind, 7 minutes of gentle movement, a breakfast that nourishes your muscles instead of simply filling your stomach. Please don't worry if you can't start all 5 habits tomorrow. Begin with just one. Practice it for a few days until it feels natural, then gently add another. Before long, you'll have created a morning routine that works with your body instead of against it. Remember, your future health is shaped not by what you do once in a while, but by what you choose to do consistently. No matter whether you're 65, 75, 85, or even older, your body is still capable of responding to kindness and good habits. It may not become the body you had at 20, but it can absolutely become stronger, steadier, and more energetic than it is today. As long as we wake up to a new morning, we still have an opportunity to make choices that honor our health and our future. Before we finish, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 5 morning habits are you going to try first? Let me know in the comments below. Your experience may inspire someone else who has been searching for a simple place to begin. If this video has encouraged you, taught you something new, or simply made you feel a little more hopeful about growing older, subscribing to the channel is one wonderful way to support our community. And if you feel these videos have genuinely brought value to your life, the Super Thanks feature is another thoughtful way to support the work we do here. There is never any obligation, of course. Simply watching, leaving a kind comment, and sharing these videos with someone you care about already means the world to me. But for those who choose to support through Super Thanks, please know that your generosity helps us continue creating free content that encourages older adults to live with greater health, confidence, and dignity. Thank you for spending part of your day with me. Until we meet again, take good care of yourself, treasure each new morning, and never forget that it is never too late to build healthier habits. One sunrise, one choice, and one beautiful day at a time.